Hey guys, it's Sarah from Book Nerds and Fangirls, and today we're gonna be doing V-Wars Season 1, Episode 2, entitled Blood Brothers, and every time I think of Blood Brothers when it comes to titles, I think of Vampire Diaries. I know, I could beat the dead Vampire Diaries horse, but I feel like this is quote-unquote Vampire Day because it's a Thursday. Not only am I watching V-Wars today and making a bunch of videos about V-Wars and my constant binge V-Wars, but I'm also making my Legacies reaction to Season 2, Episode 7. So I'm excited about that. You'll only see this one and Legacies today, unless I decide to upload 3 times today just because I can. But I'm excited for today. Today I have a lot of things that I'm going to be recording for you guys, and I'm excited to do that. So if you've not already, comment, like, and subscribe. Always welcome to suggestions down in the comments if you would like me to review a show or that I have not already, or watch something that I have not already ready. Just let me know. I'm excited for it. I'm actually more excited for Season 2 to come out. But V-Wars was one of my top most anticipated shows of 2019. It's the one that I didn't know I wanted to be in 2019, but it finally happened. So I'm gonna watch the second episode and see how this is. I've decided to watch the whole series no matter how bad it may become because it's only 10 episodes, and after that 10 episodes I will decide whether or not I will stick with it or dump it. I did the same thing with Insatiable Season 1. I am so glad I stuck with Insatiable because Season 2 was so much better. But I don't know, some of the Netflix shows, they at first aren't really that great, and then they build up and become like so great, in my opinion. But some of them have like a downfall where they're good for one season and then they suck ass. I'm looking at you, 13 Reasons Why, but I don't know. We'll see how V-Wars ends up when it comes to Netflix originals. Will it actually be pretty good, or will it make the vampire genre deceased for the rest of the decade? I don't know. It's almost 2020. It's almost a new decade, so I'm excited to see what it's gonna hold. So without further ado, let's get started with the show. Okay, so I want to quickly point out that this series does not have the same time for episodes, which I haven't seen before in a series because they usually tend to stick with the same timing format, whether that be 45 to 30 minutes or things like that. But the first episode was about 56 minutes, and now the second episode is actually 36 minutes. So I like the fact that they're just gonna get out of the way what they have to say and not get any filler in to the show. I feel like that's a very fascinating idea and something I wish shows would do more so we don't have to hear a bunch of like loose plot ends that'll go nowhere. So I'm intrigued to see how they're gonna deal with that. But let's get back onto it. So I know there's only so much content that you could have when it comes to vampires, but the opening scene for this one reminds me a lot of Vampire Diaries, minus the blowjob scene because, Vampire Diaries is a CW show. They can't really show a lot of sex like V-Wars can because V-Wars is TVMA, but that's interesting. So we got the douchebag and his girlfriend, and his girlfriend hears a noise, stops a blowjob, asks him to go check what was happening outside. So he goes to check, and he's all like, there's nothing out here, and then he gets attacked by Michael, and then in true Vampire Diaries fashion, the girl runs away, thinking she could get away from a fucking vampire who's eating her boyfriend, husband, fiance, whatever the fuck he is. Really hope it's not husband and fiance, because he seemed like a douchebag. Bag who only cared about getting off, rather than, making sure his other was okay. Okay, so she runs off thinking she could, escape from a vampire, and of course she gets, eaten. So, I don't know, a lot of the scene reminded me a lot of Vampire Diaries opening scenes in season 1. So I thought it was very interesting to see that. Maybe because Ian was on Vampire Diaries, he took some inspiration from Vampires Diaries. Not all. Obviously, the series is his own. It's a different type of vampire. It's a different type of format. I would just like to point out the similarity to Vampire Diaries. I feel like I'm gonna be comparing and contrasting this show to Vampire Diaries a lot. Because Ian Somerhalder was on a similar-esque type show about vampires. Only this time he's not playing a vampire, which I enjoy. And this one seems like they have more emotional stakes at hand. I mean, they did kill his wife in the first episode. He apparently does have an ex-wife because his son did not have his wife as a mother. So I'm fascinated to see what differences they have and similarities, because you know your bitch is gonna point those out how she sees them. So let's go ahead and continue. Okay, so I have to say this. I really like how this show actually has realistic consequences for people's actions. In Vampire Diaries, yes, another comparison, I know, or in any other vampire show, people just tend to let people get murdered and then never actually do anything about it. There's like a 2-episode investigation and then no consequences afterwards. Oh, they're just dead. What did they die from? Oh, animal attack. Oh, that's great. Great to know. Let's just drop it there. So I like how this show starts out with Luther actually being the police station getting charged with the murder of his wife because she didn't look like a vampire. After she died, she was just a woman who had just got killed by her husband, and it looks pretty bad for him. We know that she was a vampire, they don't know. So I like how they don't believe his story, believe that he actually killed his wife in front of his son, and actually has the real life consequences of his son getting taken by CPS, which I had my own issues about this particular CPS in general, but as a lot of people know, every single system is flawed in one way or another. So I like the realistic take on this show, and I just wanted to touch on that. So, fast forwarding to his son's part, he's with the social worker, and she's trying to get him to talk about what happened with his father, and of course, kid has been through a pretty traumatic experience, so he doesn't want to talk to her, which I don't blame him. If I had just seen my dad kill my mom just in order to protect me, I would be pretty traumatized too. So, I don't know, give the kid a break, maybe. Give him some time. I also wanted to point out, I actually like how the vampires actually act like predators in this show. Like, they act like they're vampires. They don't have any human emotion when they're attacking people. people. Also, I like how their teeth aren't, you know, just two pointy fangs. They're like full on fangs, and they remind me about any carnivorous, carnivorous? Yeah, predator that you would see out in the jungle, or even like in your home if you like look at how your dogs and cat mouths work in order to break down food and digest it out in the wild. So I like how that's the vampire design. I didn't mention that in my last episode, and I really wanted to do it in this episode. Also, whenever we're doing this CPS session where the social worker is trying to get him to talk, she brings up the fact that they have managed to contact his mother. So, from his reaction, we could obviously see that there's something not mentally right about his mother, and I don't know, this is where they tiptoe the line of reality to me. I have had some experiences with CPS. CPS not full on, you know, experiencing them because I have two loving parents, but I do have friends and also family members who have been through CPS and whatnot, and you know, I feel like even though most systems are flawed, this one just screams particularly flawed to me. To me, in the show, that is. I know they do great things in real life, but they're only human and they do make mistakes as well. So I just wanted to point that out. So I feel like if a child tells you that his mother is mentally unstable, and you see in her medical files that she is not mentally stable to be able to raise her child, I feel like CPS would never place him in the custody of his mother who is mentally unstable. Unstable, yeah, I know she still has certain rights because she hasn't signed away her rights quite yet. Quite yet, but it's just something that I don't feel CPS would do, even if this was a very flawed one, but maybe that's just me. Maybe I just haven't dealt with them a lot to know their inner workings and whatnot, but that seems pretty fucked up to me, and it's especially a type of fucked up. Also, when this is all going on, Luther is in jail, and then these guys come to take him somewhere. I'm on the part where they're at their location right now. But he's no longer in custody of the state. This seems more of a national case, which, I don't know, maybe this is where the plot actually kicks off. Maybe he's helping these people with the vampire problem because, you know, he's the only one that seems to be experiencing it so far. Or where this is, the contagious outbreak has, you know, started. So they're probably trying to get to the bottom of it because he is a scientist and he does do particular viruses and how they sprout, and he's also kind of like a doctor scientist type guy. They haven't really stated what his official position is in the show yet. I know he's a scientist, and I'm pretty sure he's a medical scientist, in all honesty, but, you know, I'm here for it. This might be an interesting show. Okay, so I have actually already finished the second episode of V-Wars. It was an okay one, pretty interesting. Interesting. So we fast forward to Kaylee, I think her name is, that journalist woman. woman, she goes into his house, which is an active crime scene, by the way. She's breaking 1,000 laws, but we're not gonna get into that. So she goes into the active crime scene, gets all the evidence not evidence, but all the, information she thinks she needs. And then I'm looking at this floor, and I notice that the murder weapon is still there, and I think that's a continuity error or something, because, like, I don't think the police would leave an active crime scene without the weapon in their possession. It just doesn't seem, realistic to me. They always take the weapons into custody for court cases later involving the plaintiff. So why it's still there is beyond me. Also, what I'm starting to wonder is how this virus is affecting almost everyone that comes into contact with it except Luther. So Luther has now been exposed to 2 different people that have been plagued with this virus, and he has not actually been exposed to it. And I'm coming into, like, the realization that Luther may be the cure for their vampirism, or he might have something to tame their vampirism, as per se. Either that, or he is the carrier of the virus, and everyone he comes into contact with turns into one. So how diseases usually work is there are carriers and there are recipients. The carriers can carry the virus without any knowledge whatsoever. I believe. I'm not a physician like he is, but I believe this is how viruses work, or my understanding of viruses. So a lot of people could carry certain viruses within them, and they can become not active. So I feel that even though Luther is a carrier for the virus, he's not gonna get the virus. It's just the luck of the draw. I guess. Also, I figured out that he's a research physician. I was trying to figure out what the fuck he was. So this girl who is a journalist, and a scummy journalist at that, posts all this new information that is false information because she has no idea what the fuck's going on. And while this is happening, Luther is in custody of national security, and it turns out they actually want his help figuring out what the fuck this is, and he will only help them if he gets his son into custody and all the charges against him dropped, and the girl who is in on it says, I will only do these things for you if you could convince my boss that I think he's her boss, I can't remember at the moment, that you're innocent. So he goes to the boss, and convincing him is actually very easy to do, but wait, there's a twist to that. Fast forward to Michael, because Michael has been, killing people in this episode, and he comes upon a blind woman who... Sorry, someone's moving furniture, I believe. Who is waiting for her ride, and he fights the urge to kill her, which, they can fight their urges, that's an interesting take. But while they're talking about how they both lost brothers, I can't help but feel how petty Michael is in this moment. Like, you committed a huge crime, dude, and I know that you don't think it's fair that you went into custody because you couldn't help it. But don't get pissed at your friend. Your brother, when all he was trying to do was help out. I don't know, there's just, like, something about it that just puts me off. off about it. So he fights the urge to do that, talk shit about Luther some more, and then, sends this girl on her merry way. Fast forward back, or rewind back to Luther, who has now made this deal with this dude and got his son back, which, by the way, I don't know why we would have to go through all the unnecessary things about giving him away, or back to his mother. Probably for background information about where his mother actually is, but still, I feel like it was unnecessary for this information to be right here. Of all places, I really hope we see the mother soon. I'm pretty sure, if not somewhat positive, that the mother is gonna be played by Nikki Reed. I'm not 100% sure. I know she's in this show briefly. I just like to touch on that. Speaking of touching on that, we figure out that the reason why this dude, the head of I wouldn't say the head of national security, but he works for national security. The only reason he wants Luther is to figure out about this virus. The only thing is he finds Luther to be a liability because he doesn't want to kill the vampires. He doesn't see them as soulless creatures. He sees them as humans who are sick, who need help, and they find that to be a liability. So as soon as he does what he needs to do for them, they're gonna quote-unquote take care of him, which ends this episode right here. Now, this episode wasn't bad by any necessary means, just like this show isn't that bad. I just feel like it's not upping the ante enough to impress me. I don't know. Maybe I've seen one too many vampire things in my time. Maybe I'm just like the rest of the universe, I'm just getting sick of vampires, even though I'm taking a hiatus from vampires for the longest ass time. But I don't know. Maybe this show will get better. I'm about to watch episode 3. You guys probably won't see that until tomorrow. But I'll be recording as much as I can of viewers. So that's it for this episode, guys. Comment, like, and subscribe if you've not already. And I will see you guys in the next video, I guess. Bye!